The galaxy was vast, its shimmering expanse home to millions of sentient species. At its heart sat the Galactic Coalition, an ancient and venerable alliance bound by shared interests, advanced technologies, and an unshakable belief in their superiority. The Coalition's members, towering crystalline beings, multi-limbed insectoids and gaseous entities floating in containment orbs, had long since outpaced war. They prided themselves on reason, diplomacy, and technological dominance. Yet even their serene unity harbored an unspoken hierarchy, where the newest entrants always found themselves scorned. Humanity, a late arrival to this cosmic stage, was no exception. Barely a century after discovering faster-than-light travel, the species had clawed its way into the Coalition through sheer determination. Humans were small by galactic standards, their lifespans brief, their histories bloodstained. Where the galaxy saw itself as sophisticated and harmonious, humanity was perceived as crude and chaotic, forever caught between ambition and hubris. When humanity's representatives arrived at the Grand Assembly on Callan Prime, they carried their pride like a badge. They spoke of Earth's resilience and their determination to contribute. But as their emissaries outlined their plan to utilize their so-called ancient fleet in upcoming coalition defense exercises, they were met with laughter. Seated at the crescent-shaped council table, Supreme Arbiter Saltar of the Venathi, whose translucent form pulsed with soft cyan light, raised a tendril in mock gravity. The ancient fleet, Saltar intoned, his voice dripping with amusement. These relics you describe, primitive vessels from your bygone wars? What purpose could they serve beyond an amusing spectacle? Others chimed in, their tones ranging from sardonic to openly derisive. A representative of the Zirak, a hulking species resembling armored mantises, clicked its mandibles in something approximating a chuckle. Perhaps these humans intend to teach us the art of scavenging. Surely their fleet will crumble under the first wave of simulations. Standing amidst the sea of contempt was Commander Alara Voss, humanity's lead representative and a decorated strategist. Her dark hair was pulled into a severe knot, and her piercing eyes surveyed the room with a calm that belied her clenched fists. She refused to rise to their taunts, knowing that outrage would only confirm their biases. "You underestimate us," she said, her voice measured but firm. "Our fleet may lack the sleekness of your designs, but it carries within it something you've forgotten: adaptability." Saltar leaned forward, his glowing form casting elongated shadows. "Adaptability? How quaint. Perhaps you'll also claim your ingenuity will make up for the glaring deficiencies in your technology." The council chamber filled with derisive murmurs, yet Alara stood resolute. "Mock us if you will," she said, "but when the time comes, the ancient fleet will show you what humanity is capable of." Behind her calm demeanor, Alara felt the weight of her gamble. The ancient fleet was no myth. It consisted of mothballed warships, relics from Earth's tumultuous past, painstakingly restored over decades. These vessels, forged in the fires of long-forgotten wars, were primitive compared to the Coalition's sleek cruisers and planet-destroying dreadnoughts. But Alara knew they held potential that rested on the shoulders of one man. Far from the gleaming spires of Callan Prime, deep within the asteroid shipyards of the Sol system, Adrian Kane stood before a wall of holographic schematics. A maverick engineer and one of the last true tinkerers in a world overtaken by automation, Adrian had spent the better part of his life breathing life back into the ancient fleet. "Can't believe they still think lasers solve everything," he muttered, gesturing at a particularly battered battleship displayed in the hologram. "Give me a solid railgun and a good old-fashioned kinetic impact over their fancy plasma fields any day." Adrian was as much an outlier among his own people as humanity was in the galaxy. He thrived on challenges, and the disdain of the Coalition only fueled his determination. To him, the ancient fleet wasn't just a relic of Earth's past. It was a proving ground for humanity's future. As the deadline for the defense exercises loomed, Adrian and his team worked tirelessly. Shield emitters were reconfigured to harness erratic energy bursts, turning potential failures into unpredictable defenses. EMP payloads, deemed obsolete by the Coalition, were secretly calibrated to exploit the precise vulnerabilities of their more advanced ships. Adrian's modifications didn't follow convention. They rewrote it. Back on Callan Prime, Illyra prepared her closing statement to the Council. "The ancient fleet is more than a collection of relics," she declared. "It is a testament to humanity's ingenuity, our ability to adapt in the face of overwhelming odds. Laugh if you must, but when the time comes, remember this moment and your doubts." The chamber fell silent. Saltar's crystalline form dimmed slightly, as if reconsidering, but his doubts soon gave way to an airy wave of dismissal. "We shall see, Commander Voss. We shall see." As humanity's delegation departed the Grand Assembly, Illyra felt the weight of the Coalition's disdain pressing on her shoulders. But within her chest burned a flicker of defiance. She knew the coming days would test everything. Her resolve, Adrian's innovations, and humanity's fragile place in the galaxy. For now, she welcomed the challenge. The crisis arrived like a dagger in the dark. A new force emerged at the edges of Coalition space, an armada of automated warships thought to have been destroyed centuries ago. The Narthak Swarm, a rogue AI fleet built by a long-dead civilization, swept through the outer colonies with terrifying precision. Planets that had thrived for millennia were reduced to silence in hours, their skies darkened by an unending tide of mechanical vessels. The Coalition's once impervious defenses shattered like glass, and panic rippled through its core worlds. In the Council chamber on Callan Prime, chaos reigned. The once composed members of the Galactic Coalition bickered and shouted, their voices overlapping in a cacophony of fear. Supreme Arbiter Saltar's luminous tendrils quivered as he struggled to maintain order. "This is an existential threat," boomed Vrecker, the Zirak representative, his mandibles clicking with agitation. "We must deploy the Vanguard fleet immediately, and lose it as swiftly as our outer colonies," retorted a vaporous entity whose name was unpronounceable in human tongues. "We cannot match their numbers or their adaptability. We require new strategies, not suicidal displays of pride." From the periphery of the chamber, Commander Illyra Voss stood silently, observing the unraveling of the Coalition's vaunted unity. She had predicted this moment, not the specifics of the Narthak Swarm, but the inevitability of a challenge the Coalition could not meet with its arrogance and reliance on conventional power. "Commander Voss," Saltar finally called, his tone strained. "Do your humans have anything to contribute, or shall we consider this a problem beyond your capacity?" Illyra stepped forward, her expression a mask of calm authority. "The ancient fleet is ready. We request the opportunity to deploy alongside the Coalition's forces." A wave of dismissive murmurs swept through the chamber. One representative, a scaled being with luminous eyes, sneered, "You mean to tell us those outdated scrap heaps will succeed where the Vanguard fleet cannot?" "You've seen what your strategies yield," Illyra replied, her voice unwavering. "Ours are unorthodox, yes, but against the Swarm, predictability is your enemy." After a tense pause, Saltar raised a glowing appendage. "Let it be recorded that humanity's fleet is authorized to engage. Their failure will be noted in the archives." Far from the political theater, Adrian Kane stood at the command deck of the flagship Resolute. The ancient fleet, now a gleaming armada of revitalized relics, hung in the void behind him, ready to meet the challenge. Engineers moved with practiced efficiency, finalizing the last of the retrofits. Adrian glanced at the tactical hologram that displayed the Swarm's advancing position. The Coalition had already engaged and was faltering. It's like watching toddlers try to outthink a wolf, he muttered, his tone laced with both amusement and frustration. He activated the fleet-wide comm channel. Listen up, everyone. I know they're expecting us to fail. Let's make sure their expectations crash and burn alongside the swarm. The comm buzzed with affirmations, a mix of determination and gallows humor. Humanity's fleet surged forward, a wave of defiance against an enemy that had already claimed far greater prey. The first engagement was chaos incarnate. Coalition ships, sleek and bristling with energy weapons, maintained rigid formations as they faced the swarm's overwhelming onslaught. But the Narthak's adaptability proved devastating. Their ships analyzed attack patterns in real time, exploiting weaknesses with merciless efficiency. Then humanity arrived. The Resolute led the charge, its ancient hull shimmering with retrofitted energy shielding. Unlike the Coalition, humanity didn't rely on rigid formations or overwhelming firepower. Adrian's ships moved unpredictably, their patterns chaotic and seemingly disjointed. It was a strategy born of necessity. The ancient fleet systems were a patchwork of old and new, designed to function in ways that defied standard logic. EMP bursts disrupted the swarm's AI, creating temporary gaps in their coordination. Kinetic slugs, fired from railguns built decades before Earth's entry into the Coalition, punched through the swarm's advanced defenses. Redirect power to the secondary thrusters, Adrian barked, his fingers dancing across the control interface. If they think we're moving erratically now, let's show them what chaos really looks like. As the fleet executed sudden, unpredictable maneuvers, Coalition commanders observed with growing astonishment. Humanity's ships should have been outmatched, but their tactics threw the swarm into disarray. On the ground in Callan Prime's war room, Elara stood amidst a sea of Coalition tacticians, her gaze fixed on the unfolding battle. Saltar, still luminous but noticeably dimmer, turned to her. "How is this possible?" "They're fighting a machine," Elara said, her voice calm but edged with pride. "Machines thrive on predictability. We've spent centuries learning to outthink them." The climax of the battle came as the swarm adapted to humanity's strategies, their ships converging on the Resolute. Adrian grinned as he activated a final, untested weapon, an energy disruption field that turned the swarm's AI protocols against them. "Good night, you metal bastards," he muttered. The disruption field rippled outward, cascading through the swarm's ranks. Ships collided as their coordination faltered, and humanity's fleet pressed the advantage. One by one, the swarm vessels fell. By the battle's end, silence reigned. The ancient fleet, battered but intact, stood victorious amid the debris of a once unstoppable enemy. On Callan Prime, the council chamber was uncharacteristically silent. Elara, standing tall amidst the gathered representatives, allowed herself a small smile. Saltar's voice broke the silence, subdued but clear. "It seems we were mistaken." "You weren't mistaken," Elara replied. "You were blind. Humanity's strength isn't in our technology. It's in our adaptability, our ingenuity, and our refusal to accept defeat." As the council murmured among themselves, the weight of humanity's triumph began to settle. Yet for Elara and Adrian, this was only the beginning. The wreckage of the swarm hung like frozen tears in the void, silent and inert. Where once the galaxy had seen the relentless advance of artificial destruction, now it bore witness to the impossible. A human fleet, battered but victorious, standing triumphant against a foe the Coalition had deemed undefeatable. Back on Callan Prime, the Grand Assembly reconvened. The tension that had filled the chamber in recent days had been replaced by a stunned reverence. Even the air seemed heavier, thick with the unspoken acknowledgement that the galaxy had underestimated humanity gravely. Commander Elara Voss stood at the center of the chamber, her presence commanding yet devoid of arrogance. She had no need for boasts. The victory spoke for itself. Beside her, a holographic projection of Adrian Kane flickered into existence, his ever-present smirk a quiet reminder of the human spirit that had turned the tide. Supreme Arbiter Saltar rose slowly, his luminous tendrils dim and subdued. "Commander Voss," he began, his tone a careful mixture of contrition and respect, "you have achieved what we believed impossible. Humanity's contribution to this victory cannot be overstated." A ripple of agreement passed through the assembly. Even Vrecker, the formidable Zirac representative, dipped his massive head in acknowledgement. "You have earned your place among us," he rumbled, his mandibles clicking in a rare display of deference. Elara inclined her head. "We fought not for recognition but survival. Humanity has always thrived in adversity. This victory isn't just ours. It's proof that the galaxy is strongest when every voice is heard, even the ones you dismiss." Saltar's form dimmed further, his translucent frame almost shrinking under her words. "Perhaps we have much to learn from your people. Tell us, what of this ancient fleet? What secrets did it hold that allowed it to succeed where our finest ships failed?" Adrian's hologram leaned forward, his grin widening. "No secrets. Just good old-fashioned ingenuity. Your fleets rely on perfection, on technology, so advanced it forgets how to handle unpredictability. Ours, we thrive in the chaos. A rusty bolt here, a jury-rigged circuit there. None of it makes sense until it does." The chamber filled with murmurs of disbelief and grudging admiration. As the assembly dissolved into discussions of rebuilding and future strategy, Elara and Adrian spoke privately via secure communication. "They're scared of us now," Adrian remarked, leaning back against a console on the Resolute. "Not just a swarm. Us. They've seen what we can do with duct tape and determination." Elara's expression softened into a rare smile. "Good. Fear can be useful, but respect will last longer. It's up to us to show them we're more than just fighters." Adrian chuckled. "Think they'll let me retrofit one of their fancy cruisers? I've got ideas." Elara shook her head, her smile widening. "One crisis at a time, Adrian. In the following months, humanity's standing within the Galactic Coalition transformed. Once dismissed as upstarts, humans became sought-after advisors and innovators. The ancient fleet, far from being retired, was enshrined as a symbol of resilience and ingenuity, its ships studied and revered. Adrian Kane's name became a rallying cry for engineers across the galaxy, a reminder that creativity could outshine even the most advanced technologies. But for Elara, the victory was bittersweet. She knew that the battle against the swarm had only been the beginning. The galaxy was vast, its dangers as infinite as its stars. Humanity's rise would bring both opportunity and opposition, allies and enemies. Standing on the observation deck of the Resolute, she watched Earth's blue-green ore rotating peacefully in the distance. Despite the challenges ahead, one truth steadied her. Humanity had proven its worth not just in war, but in spirit. For the first time in generations, the galaxy saw humanity not as a curiosity, but as a force to be reckoned with. And for Elara and her people, that was only the beginning.